The things that people complain about the most are oftentimes their fault or things that they allow. I woke up and immediately started scrolling on my phone. I don't put that much weight on waking up and scrolling on my phone as I used to because a lot of times it comes from productivity bullshit. I know how to ground myself, so I could scroll on my phone for an hour, go outside for 30 minutes to an hour, ground myself, and then come back in and do my work. I don't stick to a strict, you can't do this. It's more of what I want to do, what I feel called to do, and what I want to do because I do what I want. But I was thinking about it while I was outside, and there's one of the people that I live with is a hairstylist, and she's doing one of her friends' hair. They're watching TV, and I don't know what they're watching, but somebody was protesting. That's all I heard while I was making my coffee. Somebody was protesting, and but I'm gonna say what I was thinking about while I was outside. There's someone that I know who is always hustling, always trying to make more money because they have a specific goal. They not realizing that they're supposed to work with the community to obtain that specific goal, but they have a space and they made such a big stink out of people not ruining that space and people not doing this with this space and constantly getting on people and nagging folks. And after some years, I'm sitting back reflecting on all of the things that they were nagging about and complaining about and making a big stink about. Meanwhile, the rule apply to you and not me. I can't stand people like that. Every single thing that they complained about or they got on other people about out of fear of other people doing it was projection. Everything that they complained about that was wrong in their space or that somebody they claim somebody else did, they did themselves. Ain't it funny how that works? I was thinking about the space, thinking about it, you know, vision in my mind about how it looked and how the space was and everything, and I took a step back from being in the space to looking at the space from outside looking in. I was like, everything that they attempting to nag someone about, they did. The space started to downgrade because of the things that they did or didn't do. So it wasn't on anybody else. It was on them. It was literally on them. And that is so funny when people project in that way. And it made me think about the people who complain about their lives being a certain way or complain about not meeting certain types of people or meeting certain types of people too much. And I'm like, and it's funny, I was thinking about this before I even went outside or downstairs. A lot of the reasons why we get certain things in our lives is because we accept them. We accept a lot of our circumstances. And I ain't even gonna say we anymore because I'm not a part of that group anymore. People accept their circumstances. You really do get the life that you think you deserve to live. And it paralleled, the thoughts paralleled, they went along with what I was thinking about, because when I went downstairs and I heard this, they're watching the show and people were protesting, and I'm like, it was what I was thinking about when I watched Sinners. A lot of Black folks accept the situations that they were given and handed to them and think that they don't have no other choice. I'm specifically talking about Black folks, because I'm Black. But I used to be one of those protesters. We got to convince the quote unquote elite that we're worth we're worth this. And we have to prove our humanity to them. And I'm in my mind thinking now that every single time I elevate my life, every single time I drop certain people, every single time I refuse to accept certain circumstances and I refuse to accept certain behaviors from people as well as myself, there are certain things that I continue to get in life that other people look at me and say, oh, you're just blessed, or you're just lucky, oh, you're very privileged. And I'm like, baby, I wouldn't have been privileged if I kept holding on to the same life that I used to have, and the same mindset and the same friends and the same people and the same beliefs that I used to have. Yes, I've been blessed. I've been privileged. My mother been speaking that over my life since I was born. So let's start there. My mother has been speaking that over my life since I've been born. And if you did not have parents who did that for you, you have to do that for yourself. You need to let go of the fact that your parents weren't shit. Baby, if you are an adult, you're grown now. How you live your life has nothing to do with them anymore. Yes, they created that foundation, but you have the powers to change that foundation into something that benefits you now. It may be hard as fuck, but who said life was supposed to be easy? I broke someone's brain when I said that. I said, who told you that life was supposed to be butterscotch and rainbows? Now, life can be. I absolutely believe that it can be. Especially once we're aware and once we're enlightened. Once we wake up and realize the trick and the trap of thinking that life is supposed to be hard or will you just go through shit. The more we raise our children with that mindset of not accepting less, having certain standards for yourself, trusting your intuition, only doing what you feel called to, not doing what you don't want to do. Of course, teaching them skills so that, if they choose to do something, first of all, I'm not surviving. I hate when people say, oh, you got to do this for survival. I'm not surviving. I would rather choose another life than have to go through life surviving. That's why I stopped watching certain videos. Ooh, this is a good example. So my family was very country. They came from West Virginia, and before they moved to DC, they had a farm, and literally had a farm, animals, chickens, all that stuff. So growing up with the old school mindset, my mother was very much, I want my own garden. So was my cousin. Very much, I want my own farm. I want my own garden. And I do too. I want to homestead it because I think it's cute. But then I realized I'm a girly girl. Sometimes we have to undo the foundations that were taught to us. I was raised around, we got to do it ourselves. I was raised around community first, no matter what. I was raised around, oh, have your garden so you can have this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. I don't like dirt. I don't like dirt. Now, if I do it, it's going to be very aesthetic. I have to have a reason why I'm doing something. And so I started thinking about that. People were like, oh, well, you have this and have that in case the world ends. Baby, if the world ends, I don't want to be surviving. It's like on Twitter, people were like, if the apocalypse came, I'm just going to lay out in the middle of the road because I do not wish to live in that. That's not a life. The pirate's life is not the life for me. I'm not volunteering to rub sticks together to start a fire because that's not the life that I want to live. If I'm used to something, this is where logic comes in. Why would I accept anything less than that? Why wouldn't I try in my power to, one, make more money and attract more abundance and resources to me? Because that's really the thing, resources. If you have enough resources, you're good. And resources don't always have to mean homesteading. Resources doesn't have to mean, if you are wealthy enough to pay people a very, very good livable wage, you can have whatever life you want to. And once we take off that limiting mindset of this life is only meant for certain people, the rest of us, the rest of us have to accept the crumbs that are given to us. I always looked at that mindset with a stank face. What the fuck? I look at people who speak like that, like they just cuss me out and call me outside my name. Because no, I don't accept that. I don't accept that. And the more I study like quantum physics, the more I study universal law and how to manipulate certain laws and stuff, the more I'm like, we could live just about pretty much whatever life we want to live. Depending on how you position yourself in life, you could possibly become a very high ranking a lot of things. You, with the exception of the obvious, you're not going to become Superman. Or you're not going to become Spider-Man unless you're very agile. Well, then again, hold up. This is how alchemy works. This is because I'm an alchemist. You absolutely can become Superman. If you're an actor, if you're a physical, if you train and you audition and you convince people who are making a Superman movie that you deserve to be Superman, baby, you can become Superman. Sometimes also people take things literally. If I want to become Batman, or let's take it out of the superhero thing. If I want to become, who did I want to be when I was younger? I always wanted to be a princess. I always wanted to be a princess. And unfortunately, Cinderella was one of my favorite movies. And Cinderella had to stop being one of my favorite movies. Matter of fact, the Cinderella with Brandy became one of my favorite movies because of the message. She was like, people are dreaming all the time, but there's a lot of people that are dreaming and they don't do shit about it. She told Cinderella to get off her ass and wishing and hoping. She said, okay, now you done wished and hope. What else you gonna do? Because nothing really changed other than the fact that she had a car to get her there in the dress. She could, I take it because of, the storyline. Cinderella made the stepsister dresses or they got them made somewhere or whatever else. But the way they were treating her, she probably definitely hand stitched them gorgeous ass gowns. If you have not seen Cinderella with Brandy, the remake of the Hammerstein is, what's the name of Hammerstein? I can't think of the first name. With Whitney Houston. Oh, please go watch it. Matter of fact, I'm going to watch it today. She probably handmade those dresses for her stepsisters and her stepmother. All she had to do was go and take some of them curtains and make her a dress and show up. Figure out how to get there. Because that's literally what she did. She just needed somebody to be like, impossible. and if I absolutely wanted to cosplay as Cinderella, the Brandy Cinderella, get my hair braided up or wear a braided wig, because I'm bald right now, and get a gorgeous blue gown and walk around and be as sweet as pie and tell people that I am Cinderella and take pretty pictures with adorable children and grown adults who love Cinderella. I'm Cinderella, bitch. I have a cousin that cosplays. Like professionally. He involuntarily he shows up at like children's hospitals and stuff as the Black Panther. Baby, he's Black Panther. When he puts that costume on, he is Black Panther. So you are only as limited as your mind. You could fly if you want to. No, you can't. Airports exist, don't they? Helicopters exist, don't they? Hell, they even got jetpacks. They don't go that far, but you flying. Technically, I don't think that's flying. That's more falling. I was gonna say not parasailing. What is parachuting? But that's more gliding and falling. But no, you can glide. They have gliders. When you go up high, you can glide in the air as long as the current takes you. Unless because I think they can control it and come down or whatever. Yeah, you can fly. You're only as limited as your mindset. So thinking about the show where people were protesting neighborhoods and injustices, I started to look around because I was also raised volunteering in certain spaces and essentially keeping people okay with the environment that they're living in. Things change. And there are a lot of people who would rather fight for things to stay the same, even though it no longer benefits them, than to think, maybe I should change myself. Maybe we should change ourselves. Maybe we should figure out how to get more. Well, ain't nobody gonna let us have more. Have you tried? Or have you seen 1, 2, or maybe 20 people out of 8 billion, mind you, on this planet? And even there's more people of color than there are white folks, mind you. Way more. And they're dying out. Elon Musk just posted an article which I already knew. I saw this article 5-10 years ago. I think some biology students or some, not biology, but genetic, like professors and doctors or whatever from the UK put out a study that said, yeah, Europe's dying out by 2032, which is so funny astrologically. That date, that year, now that I think about it, has some other significance as well. The charts never lie. But basically by 2032, white people will not be the majority. Like in majority white countries. Not only are they dying out, but their birth rates are going way down. But it's never let me change. Oh yeah, you saw maybe 20 people that they made a big example, because that's how it works. That's how they influence people. They'll take one person and make them the example for hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm like, what does that got to do with me? Yeah, I see two people living in this situation, or they was put on TV to say, look, you can't do this. Fuck that got to do with me. So I've seen people who will literally fight for their hood and their ghetto to stay the fucking same, or for them to stay in the same hood in the same fucking ghetto because they want that situation to get better, but they don't want to leave it. And then they complain about the situation not getting better and not leaving it. And they will talk down about anybody who dares to leave the situation and better themselves. And it's a double-edged sword, because of course we know culture, mindset, trauma, and things have a lot to do with it. But when it with support, because support is always the base, support is always where you're supposed to start. Support and mindset are a really big thing. Okay. And this is another reason why there's a certain standard that I have for my people. Not really a standard, that's the wrong word. But I know of plenty of Middle Eastern and Indian people. Yes, there are a lot of them that are very poor over there, but there are also a lot of them that they don't believe in begging for handouts. They believe in taking odd jobs. They believe in, a lot of them, quite a few of them, they believe in building themselves up to get into a better situation. And I noticed that quite a few of my people get very complacent. We live in one of the best countries that you could ever live in. And people who are still in the oppressed and victim mindset, which is very easy, it took me 10 years to get out of it, think that that's a lie. No. Even the worst places in America is not as bad as some places in other parts of the world. If you wanted to, I've seen people, and I've known, not known personally, but known of people to the point where I could recognize their face, that were homeless and walked up the East Coast to get to New York because they knew there was a better situation up there. Walked from like North Carolina or Virginia. No, ain't nobody saying you have to, but that's how much they wanted to get out of the situation that they were in. And it started with their brain. Now, who's to say they got into a better situation when they got up there, but they walked. There's a guy that's famous in DC, and the man got money. When I tell you the man got money, and everybody who knows his lore knows that he has money. He goes up and down the East Coast. I don't know if he still does this. Hustling. Asking people for money. And I know this to be true because one time my mother realized this. And I think she was coming home from work and lost her wallet. And asked him, because she had pointed him out one time to me. And I was like, I think that's the dude that people say that he got money. And asked her, she was like, well, I gave him money, like, I think it was like the day before or the morning of that she lost her wallet on the train. And she gave him money, and she was like, excuse me. And he remembered her because she had a conversation with, she's like, I lost my wallet and I do not have any cash on me to, get home. Do you happen to have some change or like $1 for the bus or whatever? He pulled out a 20 and gave it to her. He said, I surely do. And reached in his little cup that was in his jacket and pulled out a 20. And when my mother said, I think he had 2 cups. When he pulled out that cup, he didn't pull it out very far, but she got a glimpse of it, and it had bills in it, honey. Because I think somebody blessed him with like $20 or maybe 10, 5. So he didn't have many big bills, but he had a lot of bills. So you are really only as limited as your mind. So the first thing that you have to do, if you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. And that can take, people think that if they don't change their mind, because I used to be that way as well, if you don't change your mind in a day, then it's not going to work. Baby, it's a ritual. It takes time for a lot of people. You just have to be more stubborn than your mind is. Or your circumstances. You have to be way more stubborn. And I'm very stubborn. I used to get, not ridiculed. Yeah, ridiculed. I used to get talked about for being so stubborn. Oh, she gonna do what she want to do. You damn right, because if I did what you wanted me to do, I'm gonna end up in a worse situation and a worse mindset than when I started. Why the fuck would I live? Who are you? What authority are you in a good situation for me to listen to? I don't want to live like you. I don't want to live like you. So I used to protest. I used to be one of those protesters because I grew up with folks who were raised during the civil rights era and who did protest until they got older. And I was raised around it. And then I looked around and I looked at the situations. I love studying history. And I recognized the patterns. It's not very hard. I said, people are okay with getting the bare minimum. I am not. I said, think about it like this, because I tweeted this. People will beg for their humanity, right? And you kind of have to be a little bit of a manipulator or a narcissist to be able to get this without, not really, but to be able to get this without needing to be told it. I've absolutely manipulated people. I manipulate people all the time. I'm not ashamed to say that. When you are putting your best foot forward or trying to make a good impression on someone, you're manipulating them. People look at it as a solely bad thing because they only associate certain skills with bad people. But for example, for women absolutely need to learn how to manipulate. You do it out of survival, but also to get ahead. I manipulate men all the time. I've even manipulated some women that I could tell were very had internalized misogyny, and it ended up working in my favor as well as theirs. But when you breadcrumb people, and I brought up manipulation because I've done this in relationships in the past. When you breadcrumb people and you either feed their ego, you give them just a little bit to survive, you give them a little bit more, you in terms of society, you let them live a little bit more. People become complacent. Relationships do the same thing. If you do just enough, you can keep people around and keep them in your corner and keep them doing whatever it is that you want them to do without them complaining. Until the next go round and they realize, like, if you slack. But if you keep people moderately happy, a lot of people will be perfectly fine with that and won't ask for anything else. So in society, you'll have, and truth be told, the former elites treat people like shit out of boredom. Because when I was younger, I used to antagonize people out of boredom, or to show my power, how much I could affect people without doing anything, without doing much. So coming from me, who has manipulated people, who used to have very, according to social media, I still have very narcissistic traits. My life is better than those who are trying to look and be like good people. Good coffee. My life is way better than people who are always worried about stepping on toes, who are always worried about, I gotta keep these people around because they were always good to me. But those people are keeping you in the same environment, the same mindset, the same mind frame that they've always been in. And I know this to be true, and that's why programming works so hard. So you have to work even harder to reprogram your mind. Matter of fact, that was actually a commercial. Commercials and TV shows will tell you a lot about how they operate society. the apartments.com commercial where, what's his name? The guy with this boom. I don't even think he's white. I don't think he's white. He don't look white. He look like, oh, I did not realize I left my lighter in the window. That is, let me move it. Hold on. The sun's not bright out, but just in case. We like to do a little bit of precaution. But I can't think of his name. Very distinguished gentleman. Wears glasses, apartments.com, and he has like silver hair. I can't think of his name. But anyway, they made a commercial about reprogramming your mind. And this was a few years ago. I don't think they still show it. But that stuck out to me. It was like, reprogram your mind. Like they kept saying that over and over and over again. And about like, I guess it was like about how you view apartment shopping or whatever. But that stuck out to me because I'm like, yes, in order to live differently, you have to reprogram your mind. A phone or a laptop doesn't just come out with a system and then stay the same forever. They have to they do updates. They do security updates. They do software updates. They do graphic card updates. I'm a tech nerd. I love tech. So they constantly are doing updates. Sometimes the updates don't work. Sometimes they interfere with other programs that's on the device or that you may upload. So they have to they tweak it or whatever else. Sometimes they do updates to fuck up your system. Take that literally about society. Sometimes they do updates to fuck up your system so that you can buy a new device. Speaking of which, and I have yet to see that commercial again. Supposedly a few weeks ago, which I think is a lie, but it could be true. And at this point now, life really is an episode of is it Black Mirror? I've only seen a few episodes where essentially they're telling us exactly how our future is going to be or what has happened in our life to be like, yeah, it's intentional. But yeah, I think it is, yeah, Black Mirror. Supposedly a few weeks ago or a month or so ago now, there was a security breach with these big tech companies, but no actual news sources came out to verify it. Supposedly there was these leaks that happened and they were telling people to change their passwords just to be on the safe side. I didn't immediately because I was like, usually when they come out with big things like this, it's I don't think I'm gonna use this correctly, a psyop, or it's something to get people to freak out, and a lot of times they tell us the truth about some things, and because the truth is so strange, people don't believe it. Somebody did that on a TV show. Oh yeah, I watched for the first time I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, and that's what he did. Jack Sparrow. He told him the truth. He's like, yeah, but what if he's lying? He's a pirate. He said, but what if he's telling us the truth because he doesn't no, that's what he said. He said, I could be telling you the truth, and because I know you won't believe me, you don't think I'm a liar anyway. And they looked at him like, I'm like, no, yeah, exactly. But it was like a few weeks after that supposed security breach happened. And I know it's going to happen more often because the adult industry saw many security breaches and a few companies didn't say shit about it. They just kept quiet. They didn't say anything about it. Like they announced it and then that was it. And I'm like, so what happened? I don't like that. I get an ad because I have an HP laptop. I get an ad on YouTube and I just got it just once from HP saying that they have a new laptop coming out, right? And this is a few weeks after the supposed security breach or the alleged security breach, saying we have a new update system. All of our old laptops will no longer be updated for the security system. I think it said something like stay on the right side of security or the future of security or something and get our brand new laptops. And I know it wasn't specific to me because I have all of my, customization features turned off for Google. Now, of course, cookies and stuff, they can track what websites you go on and stuff. So you can get certain ads from that. But all of my specific personalization ad features on Google are turned off. I don't want them, I mean, they still do track it, but I don't want to see commercials that have to do with any, what am I think my cousin, oh no, that was a TV. I thought it was a fire alarm. Yeah, I don't want to have any ads that have to do with the websites that I'm on. So all of those are turned off. The fact that I got an ad to buy a brand new computer, which I'm doing anyway, talking about security 2 weeks after this alleged security breach. Oh, it's when you realize that manipulation happens every single day on a grand scale. You start noticing those patterns, but you also realize how you can use it to benefit you as well. So, to bring it back around, there are certain things used to manipulate us as a society. I keep seeing on TikTok, reading comments, because I mostly read the comments to see if there's any more information, because some people do be dropping gems in the comment section. But when somebody recommends a product, or you're on a baking video and people, or something that's sweet, and people are like, is this a sugar-free option? You have so many people afraid of sweets now, afraid of sugar. You have people afraid of fucking plastic. You have people afraid of so many things because society told them that this one thing is so bad, they can't even enjoy breathing anymore. Because plastic. I'm like, babes, you have been living with this situation before you even knew about it. You can adjust your life to, make it better and be more high vibrational and eat better things and, avoid certain things so you can live. But I don't see you thriving. I see you living in fear. You're not even enjoying life anymore because you are so concerned with avoiding this and avoiding that. I see so many people. It's crazy how many people will go on videos with desserts talking about, oh, it got so much sugar in it, then eat less of it. Like one guy made homemade Sprite, which is it's not really, like the base is the limeade syrup with lime zest and like lime juice and I think it was like a cup or two of sugar. And he specifically said, I think he took like 2 or 3 tablespoons of it and made a whole pitcher of it mixed with sparkling water or the carbonated soda. And people are still like, oh my God, that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. And people are like, in the comment section were like, he specifically said you could have it in the refrigerator for your entire family. This is the base. Like, fear is it's a new religion. Fear is preventing a lot of people from living. And it's sad to watch. But to bring it back to a lot of the things that people allow or the things that they complain about the most, a lot of people are never going to change. You can influence people to change by living your life very loudly. I noticed that's how I have the best influence on people. I have very much cult leader. Matter of fact, I am a cult leader. I know most people won't call themselves a cult leader, but I absolutely am a cult leader. I easily build cult-like followings just by living my life and speaking. Very easily. And knowing this power and knowing how I could wield my words, I could absolutely lead people to ruin, but that's not me. I always want people to be better. So I could easily influence people to be better. And this is why I record these things. I don't often preach at people anymore because people are going to hear what they want to hear. Only way I would preach at people is if people literally sign up to hear me preach. But by living my life and encouraging people, but sometimes people will get too dependent on you encouraging them that they can't do it themselves, because you are their lifeline, and without you, they feel powerless. And At first I was like, I don't like that because I want people to be able to do things for themselves and live themselves, take control and empower their lives. But when you realize that some people want to be manipulated, some people want to be controlled, some people need to be controlled. Some people need to because they're uncomfortable with making their decisions for themselves in their lives. That's why religions are so big. That's why cults are coming back around. I'm gonna have a cult. I'm gonna have a few of them. I have a cult. I do. I do. And then somebody would be like, "Oh, she's lying," because it's like somebody said a real witch or a powerful person ain't gonna tell you they're a powerful person. Or like Jack Sparrow said, maybe I'm gonna tell you because I know you ain't gonna believe me. So you're gonna be moving differently around me because you think I'm lying. And maybe that's what I want you to do. This is why I tell people to listen to me. Because even if you don't accept what I'm saying, I be dropping gems. Even if you don't want to live like me or make decisions like me, I drop gems. I do. That's why I started putting out videos because somebody's going to watch this and be like, I pick up what you're putting down. And then they're going to go through their life maneuvering differently because now they understand how the rest of the world operates. They don't have to live like me. But sometimes I be making people aware of how the world works because some people live in their own bubble and they don't want to believe that even the most kind looking people or the people that come off in their decisions as kind and as sweet and as humble can be some of the most manipulative, vindictive, nasty spirited ass people, but they learn how to control and manipulate people for survival and know they're not a victim. They were, but they're not anymore. Now now they are the manipulator. And you either manipulate or you be manipulated. But manipulating doesn't make you a bad person. Of course, intention is everything. Because I manipulate people to be their best, to be them best selves all the time. I've been told, you make me feel like I could do anything. You make me feel like I could fly. It's a good thing. I want that for you. I want you to take that for yourself and do that for yourself. But I realize some people don't want to. Some people honestly were put on this earth to be told what to do. And to fight that, I don't care to fight that. Because I ain't got shit to do with me because I think with my own mind. I do what I want. And I don't do what I don't want. So I will happily manipulate people into being them best selves. And that's the thing. I don't manipulate people solely for me. I've listened to what people wanted and I know how to get them to do the thing that they want for themselves. And that's how I manipulate them. Whole time you living a life that you never thought was possible because I made it feel like it was possible for you because it is. It is. But the things that people complain about the most are the things that they accept. There's going to be a generation of people that's going to burn it all down eventually. And that's exactly what's happening, but very slowly because Saturn is in Capricorn in Vedic astrology. That's very slow. So things are happening very quickly. The things that astrologers thought was going to happen with Pisces, Saturn in Aquarius is not going to happen for another 20 to 40 years. I say 40. Because in Vedic astrology, Saturn is in Capricorn, very slow. But it's very marble energy, slowly building up something that's going to last. Pluto, did I say Saturn? Pluto in Aquarius. And traditional astrology doesn't look at Pluto at all. Like actual traditional astrology. I hate when they call Western astrology traditional because the traditional astrology came from Vedic and other countries. Western astrology is not traditional. So when I say traditional astrology, I mean Vedic and sidereal. That's what I mean. I get why they say traditional because that's what everybody uses. It's Western. Call it what it is. The things that are happening with Pluto and Aquarius is the tech. Things are happening very fast. The the oceans and the water and other things like that. That's what's happening with Pluto and Aquarius. But Saturn is very slow. Capricorn is very slow. Is this Capricorn? I mean, Saturn? I think it's Saturn and Capricorn. I just woke up like an hour ago, so yeah. My brain don't get warmed up until like 2 hours after 2 or 3 hours after I wake up. That's why I don't leave the house before a certain time. I'm very alert after I've been up for like 3 or 4 hours, sometimes 5, because I like to dilly dally. But there will be people who will just complain about their circumstances and want things to change in their circumstances instead of changing their circumstances. Some people want to be able to stay in the same spot. I met a person who, because they had such a rough environment, I knew them. I knew them very intimately. I said met because I don't know them anymore. Once I'm done with people in certain relationships and I don't see the value in a relationship anymore, or it goes south, I don't know them. So I say I met them because they have been forgotten. Because they lived in an unstable life and they were constantly moving and never really had any stability because their parents had fucking issues. They fucking issues like shit. So they created a lot of children with a lot of fucking issues. That's why I will always teach those who can have kids to be very choosy. If somebody in your life has mental health issues, choose wisely if you want to procreate with them. It's like when you're breeding dogs. People hate that analogy, but it is. When you want the best quality dog, you don't go and keep choosing the same ones that keep inbreeding. You want to get worse and worse, more demented fucking quality dogs. You choose the people who are constantly evolving and changing and growing. Because just because you have these issues don't mean you can't change and get better and grow. That don't mean shit. So if I see you as someone with a lot of fucking issues, for example, if I meet a guy and he has that alcohol fetus syndrome because his mother drank or his family, somebody did drugs, I'm not going to date him and procreate with him. I don't care how much of a sweet person that he is. If he is showing that he has anger issues, why the fuck would you go and fuck him and procreate with him? DNA doesn't lie. And people are so concerned with being nice people and, oh, you got to look at everybody is a human. Yes, everybody deserves love and security. But when you are thinking about the crap that you're going to have to put up with, be choosy. That, and some people don't think they can get anything better than what they've accepted for themselves. That whole nice guy syndrome. If you don't think you're going to get somebody of a higher quality because you think that you aren't worth that, you get exactly what you accept. But I realized that with somebody I was dating that he had a lot of fucking issues. I'm like, I'm not having kids with you because my kids gonna have those same fucking issues because you're not working on it. It's one thing to have issues, it's another to be constantly working on it. But I had another friend who did not know this guy's background before they went on a date with him, but both his parents were on drugs. And his mother was on drugs while she was with him. While she was pregnant with him. So he was very smart. He had learned how to present himself in a way that didn't seem like he had any issues. Not actually changing and growing, but he learned how to present himself as a very smart, intelligent, he was. But he had secret issues, and my friend at the time did not know that. We didn't either. Until she got to know him intimately, and then they all came out. And that was, he started to show it before she got pregnant, but it really came out after she got pregnant. So be choosy. And then be choosy some fucking more. And her beautiful child, I could see the issues from his parents being on drugs and him he was a crack baby. Him being a crack baby in her child. He's very all over the place, very, easy to anger and throwing fits and stuff like that. And I'm like, one, you have to work with that child, to help get those issues and that energy out. But I'm like, has she have recognized the red flags? Because we Sometimes have to go through it in order to be able to recognize them. And Nat had a child with that person. She may not have had to deal with this in her child. And I don't give a fuck what nobody's feelings or anything like that. And especially for women, you need to be choosy. Fuck that. Oh, that's so bad. And no, fuck that. I've seen some women go through some hellish things because they were trying to, oh, he's such a nice guy, or everybody deserve a chance. I do not believe that. That goes against my religion. Everybody does not deserve a chance. Especially if you are a woman or a femme. No, everybody does not deserve a chance. Women have died. Femmes have died and have gone through abusive situations because they gave somebody a chance. Or, oh, you have to treat them like a good human being. You can treat them like a human being. You ain't got to fuck them. You ain't got to date them. You ain't got to marry them. No, you don't. Matter of fact, you should be what they call very, very bougie or very classes and stuff for your own survival so that you can thrive. Absolutely. Because I've only seen women struggle when they do the other way. You're not supposed to be building people like that, especially people who aren't even interested in building themselves. You can encourage them. Don't date them. Don't sleep with them. Because if they don't believe that they're worthy and they aren't already in the right mindset, or they're not constantly working on that, they will resent you. They will grow to hate you. Because that inspiration or that energy is not coming from them. It's coming from you. And they hate the fact that you can make them feel like that, but they can't make themselves feel like that. You gotta be choosy and know when the fuck to leave. But there are a lot of the person that I knew who had the, parents had fucking issues and they had a whole lineage full of fucking issues and nobody was dealing with those issues, and his parents raised a whole bunch of, with the exception of I think the oldest girl, she peeped and got the fuck. Older sister things. She peeped and got the fuck. She was the only stable one out of 10 kids. They created a bunch of kids who were unstable. That's why I don't believe in struggle love. There is no love in struggle. That was cute. 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, when we didn't have many options, a few people had cell phones. You had to have really big money to have a cell phone. People had landlines, and there weren't many jobs. You really had to be trained to be able to do certain things or have connection. We have $1 million money-making devices in our hand. People have made multiple $1 million for young people, because there's younger. That's why a lot of my businesses are aimed at the younger folks. The older folks who have made it, wealthy. But my business is either young on the come up and older and already stable. I mean, like the businesses that I'm building to build to, like, make a lot of money, shit. But I saw a video of a young guy who I don't think the baby is even 21 yet. He was on the phone with his dad and he said, I told my dad that I made, his company made $1 million. No, it was 500,000 in 2 months. And of course, his dad, I get older, traditional values think you got to do a bunch of work in order to make a lot of money. You don't have to anymore. Anyone who's telling you that wants you to stay stuck, and probably is stuck themselves. Because I know people now who have good money. Like some of them are in the 1%, because 1% is making over $700,000 a year, but they make like high $300,000, $400,000 a year at the top, and like 150 to 200,000 on the bottom end. And a lot of them are still stuck because they think you still have to hustle. I'm like, there are so many systems that you could put in place that will make you even more money and you could just chill. But they still have the mindset, I gotta be on a daily grind. I'm like, no, not anymore. Not anymore, which is so beautiful. But his dad, old mindset, he asked him how much his rent was, and he had a really nice condo or whatever. And I think he owned properties too, but he decided to live and rent in a condo. He told him $5,000 a month. He was like, "You could pay that." It was adorable, because he looked so proud to tell his dad, and I think he was preparing to tell him that he giving his family money as well. And he was like, "Well, I don't want you to lose it, and that's a lot of money. You could buy a house for this, and you could buy." He was still thinking with his limited thinking. He's like, "Dad, I made like 500,000 in 2 months, and my company is still growing." Because the kid had, I guess he followed gurus that told him about investing and stuff like that. His dad was still basing his mindset off of the way things used to be. The friend that I knew who didn't have a stable environment was okay with living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 other people in one of the most hood neighborhoods in Maryland, in PG County. And he was okay with not having any more than that. And that's fine for him. He just had somebody in his life that he wanted to keep in his life, and he wanted her to be okay with that as well. And she said, "Nah, absolutely not." And let me drink my water. Some people's reality is the thing that is steering them forward, and that's it. She would send him, because she moved, and she would send him like pictures and videos of homes, because she would walk through like wealthy neighborhoods or drive past them or whatever else and be like, "House like that, or one better." And he would freak out because he didn't think he could do it. Because in his reality, he just barely got that. So he grew to resent her because she had all of this optimism and everything else, and was like, and saw his potential. That's why I don't look at potential. Look at what people are doing. Looking at potential is cute when you are under the age of 23. But the older people get, the more that they start to stay stuck in their cycles. People can grow. But I ain't gonna lie and say that you ain't gonna go through hell trying to push these people out of the mindsets that they're in. Look at what people are doing and what they're reaching towards, not their potential. And he started to resent her because he wanted that optimism for himself. Instead of saying, "Yes, I'm gonna allow you to inspire me to do better and have more because you make me feel like I can do a lot of things," he was only solely focused on what he didn't have once before and what he had now, and the fact that he couldn't push himself the way that she could. That's how you stay stuck. So you have to have the audacity to say, "I don't accept my circumstances. I don't accept what I'm looking at. I don't accept what I'm told," because who says? I talk about this all the time. Well, not really all the time, but I've mentioned this on quite a few occasions where once upon a time people thought getting old and being crippled was just a part of getting old. Like you were guaranteed to damn near need to be carried around by the time you hit 50 and 60. You got 90-year-old people swimming laps. You got 90-year-old, 80-year-old people with better muscle definition than what I have right now. Because somebody dared to say, does that have to be true for everybody? Hell, once upon a time, the expectation for life, the life expectancy was 35. Literally, was 35, because they didn't have the first of all, the structure in the houses, like the environment was terrible to live in. People stayed sick. Then the food, famine and all this other stuff, the lack of medicines, and they had poor immune systems. Hell, my entire family, aunts, uncles, mother, they all had vitamin deficiencies. My mother was born with rickets, which is a deficiency in like brittle bones, a deficiency, a deficiency in vitamin D. I literally had to start and build my immune system myself because with all of those issues, and that was my foundation, you're going to have to build from nothing if your foundation is poor. So even if you've never seen anything better, my entire family has been sick. Just because I started this way does not mean I have to stay this way. So you have people in certain areas who are looking around at their area and saying, I want to change this, let's protest. But sometimes you can't change from the inside. Sometimes you got to leave in order to change it. You staying and protesting and doing this is basically saying, I'm accepting the way that I have to live. If I did not move, thank you for family. Not even just move. If I did not say, I'm tired of being hollered at by niggas, and you know what I mean when I say niggas, I'm tired of being looked at a certain way, and stop being in environments where those type of people cultivate. I'm tired of being around loud ass motherfuckers who don't have no respect for anybody else's environment and spaces other than them. Because they weren't raised to think about other people and how other people feel. They just give a fuck about, themselves having a good time and nobody else. If I didn't say, okay, now that I'm tired of that, I'm not going to go in those environments anymore. I'm not going to hang around those people anymore. I'm too good to be around those spaces because I'm better than that. I'm higher than that. I don't want to experience that life with those type of people. So I'm not going to be around them. That's where it starts. And not giving a fuck if somebody call you sedity and bougie and this, that, and the third. You know what you want for your own environment, your own life, and your own mindset. So you have to stop doing things and not give a fuck about what other people think about it. Because the people that are judging you the most about you choosing better for your life, they will stay stuck until the day that they die. It's like there's a mindset. The friend that I had whose child's father, the parents were drug addicts. His first child's mother, may she rest in peace, she was a welfare baby. Her grandmother still lived in welfare. Still lived in a Section 8. Her mother lived in Section 8. She lived in Section 8. That's what they were used to. Nobody ever thought to say, I don't want to live in Section 8 no more. I don't want to be okay. Of course, you have to see things to be able to think it sometimes. But they became okay. That became a legacy thing. And sometimes you don't even got to see it. Sometimes it just takes that one person to be like, that's not going to be me. The singer Fantasia Barrino, that was her. She made a decision and said, I do not want my child to be a teenage mother. My grandmother was a teenage mother. My mother was a teenage mother. They all lived in, I don't know, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I watched a movie. I used to watch that movie all the time, but it's been years once they stopped showing it on Lifetime. That she, I don't know if they lived in Section 8, but she was like, I could barely read. Even after she made it, she said, I want to did she get her GED? Or did she learn to become proficient in reading? It was one of the two. She was like, this is just something I want for myself because I know that I want better. I don't want to be okay with the same thing that you've been okay with. She even said it to her mother and her grandmother. Yeah, I'm a teenage mother, but that doesn't have to be the end of my story. I want more than that. And essentially she was saying, it's not my fault y'all didn't, different eras. But she was like, it's not my fault that they did want more for her because they didn't want her to be a teenage mother. But the way they went about it, they call her stupid, this, that, and the third, or whatever else, because they were projecting. That's how they viewed themselves. But they never set the foundation for her to not become that. So it's crazy that they were judging her when they did the same thing because they were judging themselves, but they didn't do anything different to prevent that from happening. Some people will stay in the same situation forever. They're going to die in the same situation, even if they see something different. They just won't stay in the same situation. So I had to start taking my emotions and my feelings out of it when it comes to how people live and think. I had to stop giving a fuck about people. You do. You do. You have to stop giving so much of a fuck about people that it eats you up. Because if you don't, they will keep you stuck in that same space and they will disappoint you every time. I only give a fuck about the people that, deeply. I only deeply care about the people that I could see are going to be changing. Oh my God, you're a terrible person. Are you God? I don't care. Because I had friends like that. I had family members like that who they were absolutely okay with being in this one spot. And they literally would tell me, who the fuck do you think you are that you can live a different life than me? You think you better than me because you have a vision for yourself? Literally. When you've been around that nasty negative energy your entire fucking life, and I'm talking 25, 30 fucking years, you have to get away from that. And then you got to let them be inspired by watching you from afar. Because unless you have the resources and the finances to dedicate your time and energy to reprogramming people's minds, bring it right back around, they will drain you of your life force. They will drain you of your energy. They will keep you stuck and stagnant. And it won't be anybody's fault but your own. Because you chose to stay in a position where they could feed off of you and feed off of your energy. You chose it. So you have to run. You have to get away from those people. You have to... Hold on, I'm closing my window. The sun is bright. You have to get away from those people. You have to get out of those environments. You have to stop watching those things. You have to run away from the things that you don't want. And I see people say, oh, he just... I'm not even going to bring them up because they're going to be stuck too. They're going to be stuck too. Forever. Because some people like being stuck. Because changing themselves means that, changing their environment and their minds and their lives means that they have to change themselves. And some people are uncomfortable with that. I'm going to make a video today for my YouTube about the topic of some people have not gotten their windfall of blessings or income because the only thing that is stopping them is their mindset or the people that's in their lives. And sometimes the environment. Literally, sometimes that's the only thing that's stopping them from that or maintaining it. I've seen people get blessings, and I think it had to happen for examples. I've seen people get blessings, like crazy blessings, and because they had the same people around, well, I got to stay real. I got to keep these people. They've been with me forever. But are they doing your spirit and your energy any good? They may have been with you forever, but sometimes that familiarity is the thing that's keeping us stuck and stagnant. I've seen people get amazing opportunities and situations and fuck it up and lose it because they didn't change their location, because they didn't change their brain chemistry, because they didn't change the way that they moved and the way that they operated and the daily decisions that they made in their lives. They thought that they could stay the same way for the rest of their lives and have everything that they wanted. And that is absolutely the fuck not true. And a lot of people don't like that because who we have been is comfortable, But in order to make really big waves, in order to live really extravagant, and extravagant could be anything, but really beautiful lives, you have to change. I always go back, and I feel like she had to go through that in order to be a good example for people. The woman who won, what did she win? She was on Ileana's show, To Fix My Life. She won jackpot or something. Let's see. And the way Ileana is very like cut and dry, logic, over a lot of shit. My Life Lottery. I don't even know if it was a lottery winner or what. Marie Holmes. The irony of her name. Marie Holmes won the lottery. She won $188 million. Oh my God. Now, I'm looking at this news update from 2021. Now, I didn't give a fuck about her living on a plantation. I honestly believe that that's our generational right to buy the spaces where our ancestors suffered on, because we could do it right. I don't feel like she was wrong for that. I feel like she was led to do that because she was supposed to be led to do that. Now, she could have taken it and transformed it into something very beautiful. But if she didn't own it, a white person would have owned it and got married on it and thought it was just a cute little place. You know, I feel like she was called to buy the plantation because she was meant to buy the plantation. She was giving her boyfriend money in prison and kept bailing the motherfucker out. This is my thing. You know, there's quite a few people who are in prison because they were, stealing or nonviolent offenses, stealing, robbing, and hustling, selling drugs and stuff to stay, afloat and to survive. She won $188 million and this motherfucker's still getting locked up. 2021, because her episode came on in 2016, I think. 2021, her fiance, I think he got arrested. I think proposed to her after he got locked up. I think, I could be wrong. He was suing her from prison. She was 26, working 5 jobs to support her children when she won $188 million in 2015. The largest jackpot winnings in North Carolina history at the time. So she got, first of all, that's such a scam. She got $87.9 million after taxes. That's one of the reasons. Anyway. She wanted to finish her college degree and buy her mother a house. According to her ex-fiance, the Lamar Andre McDowell, named that motherfucker. The winnings also went to generous gifts for him, and she allegedly gave away or sold after they split up. Now he's suing to get them back. Yeah, that's about right. So they were the same age. The audacity of niggas. He accused her of breaching her fiduciary duty when she reportedly gave away his 77-acre dirt bike track, his car repair shop, and tens of thousands of dollars worth of clothing and jewelry when he was in prison, according to a lawsuit. Somebody saw that, and there's a lawyer brought that idea to his head. But anyway, she kept bailing him out of prison. And also her mindset didn't change. She was buying her kids dirt bikes and everything else like that, but they were all thrown across the property. The kids weren't taken care of and nothing like that. Her mindset didn't change. As soon as she won that millions of dollars, she should have broke up with that nigga. So she's going through all of this shit. They started dating in 2012 and had 2 daughters together. That's why she didn't break up with him. That's another reason to be careful with who you procreate with. A lot of women don't want to admit this. I've seen women's brains change after they get pregnant by a man because it's chemical. Like, you have his chemical makeup in your body is developing a child. So unless you are very stable, you are creating a chemical bond with that man. It's science. It's survival. It's what do you call it? DNA. That's how that works. So you have to be very careful. I've seen women with some sense literally act stupid after they get pregnant with a man. It's because your entire chemical makeup shifts and changes. If I'm not mistaken, I think they found that a woman's chemical body literally changes after she gets pregnant by a man. There are certain issues and diseases and things that she becomes susceptible to simply because of a man's sperm DNA. So certain issues she wouldn't have had she not got pregnant by this one specific man. And you still want to give that nigga a chance? Fuck that. They started dating in 2012. He was arrested in 2014 and charged with drug trafficking. And 2 months later, she won the lottery. That was her sign to drop that nigga. But I understand why she didn't. But that was her sign to drop that nigga. Literally, that was her out. I was in a situation just like that. I was going back and forth with someone, and the last 4 years was the worst. Somebody really tells you who you are when you're grieving, when you're going through health issues, and when you're grieving. That's usually when, or pregnant. That's usually when men show their true colors. And I knew in my head, I said, as soon as we move, that gives me an out. Because he can't show up at my door. I won't be tempted to see him because we was moving far away. We moved almost an hour away from where we live. And the nigga ain't have a car. So I would not be tempted to get back with him. I said everything except for I'm going to be free. But that's what I was thinking. It wasn't like it was emotionally and mentally abusive. It really was. It was very fucking draining. And I knew I was going to be free as soon as we moved. As soon as we moved, because I was already changing and growing, my mindset changed. The things I wanted changed. The things I didn't have, I had patience for before, changed. The peace that I started to know, because I was already said and declared that I wanted internal peace. So once I declared that, my external started matching my internal. Certain things you can't allow if you want to maintain that peace. Certain people you can't allow in your life if you want to maintain that peace. So you have to completely change who you are in order to receive certain things and maintain certain things that you get. He was sentenced to 10 years. That was her out. That was her out. She was supposed to be free after that. And just possibly in 10 years, that was literally the universe waking up and saying, girl, here's your out. You about to be blessed. Here you go. I'm glad it's an ex-fiance. But here you go. She spent a lot of her money bailing out her boyfriend. His name is not Hot Sauce. His nickname is not Hot Sauce. Oh, he was booked under the charge of possession of a firearm by a felon. As long as drug dealing. She bought him a 77-acre dirt bike track. Are you fucking kidding me? Baby, when I come into money like that, I ain't telling nobody. Well, certain states, of course, you have to announce, child, I'm dipping. She spent $9 million bailing him out of prison. Did I say billion? I was reading about the $2 billion jackpot winner if I said billion. $9 million bailing him out of jail. To keep... I'm just stuck. I'm stuck. She worked at Walmart, Food Lion, KFC, Subway, and multiple other places to support her kids. And one of her kids has cerebral palsy. And he kept getting thrown into jail. On separate occasions, she put $3 million and $6 million at risk by bailing him out of hot water. Somebody said, this article said bailing hot sauce out of hot water. They funny as shit for that. Then after she bailed him out, he was arrested a few months later for failure to meet curfew requirements. And she put up another $6 million to spring her. And then he was arrested again for having a gun while being a convicted felon. The bail was $10,000. There's nothing that says you have to do great things after you win the lottery, but bailing a repeat offender out of jail doesn't seem like a wise investment. See, you have to change everything about yourself. And a lot of people don't want to or don't know how to. It's wild because I remember her buying him a car repair shop because he claimed that he always wanted one, just for him to go back to jail. Just for him to go back to jail. Mm. Mm. That's so crazy. I wonder what she up to. Hold on, I'm gonna look up and see what she up to. Oop. There are people who. Oh, he moved to. Oh, she moved to Washington State. Oh, okay. Hopefully she knows peace now. That's why you got to be careful. That's why you got to be careful who you deal with. You cannot afford, okay, to be around those people. And it grinds my gears when people try to make folks say, well, you're not better than people, so don't say, don't make people feel like you're better than them. I am better than them. I am better than them. I absolutely am better than certain people. Yep. That's why I don't get into certain situations anymore. That's why, and if everybody believed that they were better than certain situations, there would be less people. She was living in a trailer? That's crazy. There would be less people constantly getting in certain situations. I wonder what she up to. The fact that she was sued is still so crazy to me. Yep, you got to change everything about you. And a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. Because they don't want to think or admit that there was something wrong with them in the past. Well, they're comfortable. There might not be anything wrong with you in the past, but if you keep continuing to live like you did in the past, there will absolutely be something wrong with you now. Yep. That's why I have the attitude of I don't care. When people are perfectly fine with how they live, Tyler Perry said that in one of his plays. I think it was Medea Class Reunion, when the woman had that cheating husband, and she was like, I got exactly what I deserve, and that I prayed for. And Medea made the what you call the connection of when people say that they got exactly what they deserve, you stop talking. You stop talking. Because they absolutely believe that. And there's nothing, you cannot care more than other people care. Period. You cannot care what other people care. I mean, more than other people care. Nope. And caring more than other people care about themselves will only drag you as low as they are or lower. Apparently her pastor sued her too. Nope. You have to. You have to stop caring. That is wild. But for the people who complain about the things that they allow, you're allowing it. So you have no right to complain. You're allowing it, so you have no right to complain. You have accepted your fate. You accepted the life that has been given to you, and you're not doing anything to change it. I do not feel sorry for you. Especially once you know. Once you know. Bible speaks about that all the time. Once you know. That's actually what the Bible's talking about. Once you know, you have no right to complain. Or complain while you're getting up out of it. You can talk about why you're getting up out of it. But you don't have no right to complain if you're staying in the same situation. If you're staying around the same people, I'm tired of this drama, I'm tired of that drama. Baby, you are the drama. You are inviting the drama. You love the drama. That's why you always deal with drama. Drama don't find me. I don't like drama. When I like drama, it was because I was in mentally, I was in a space mentally that was used to drama because my family was that. I got tired of it. Once I realized that it wasn't doing anything for me, I got tired of it. I stopped hanging around people that love drama. Yep. I'm looked at as a narcissist by people who just let any and everybody into their lives because they felt like that's what they need to do. And they don't see how those people are keeping them stuck, stagnant, and dragging them to hell. And they're letting them. I had a friend, and I'm going to keep bringing it up. I had a friend who knew a woman was drama and had issues. And because she was so pressed for a mother figure, she had mommy issues. You got to work on healing those mommy issues. That's why I have a course on moon, on working with your moon as well as your Lilith placements to heal your mommy issues and to know who you are. She was so pressed to be seen by another woman and for attention, period, that she invited drama right into her life, even though she said out of her mouth that she didn't want it. I said, well, then tell her no. She invited herself over. Tell her no. This is your space. Isn't that what you wanted? Tell her no. And as soon as I shut my mouth. I shut my mouth. And she let that woman stay in her space for hours. For hours. And then try to attempt to complain about it afterwards. I was like, you let her stay. You didn't tell her no. Basically, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear. Every time she would call to complain about this woman, she would continue to hang out with her. And I have to look at people, and that's really what made me say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because there's something wrong with you. You are constantly complaining about this one thing, and then you keep doing it. There's something fucking wrong with you, and I want no parts. And I do not care to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you, nor is it my problem. There's something fucking wrong with you. Absolutely. Something wrong with you. And you need to figure out what that is. That is not my problem. And you continue to live in the drama and just sit there like you don't have no power over yourself. And I'm literally telling you, this is the decision that you can make, baby. Say no. Well, I don't care. I don't give a fuck what your issue is. I don't give a fuck what your background is. Say no. I don't care. Well, some people have to. I don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Do not care. Either do something about it or stay the fuck away from me. Yep. And it's crazy when people say, well, those people are so mean. You have to. The people that live their lives like that live substantially better. Is that the right word? Let's look it up. Okay, yeah, that's the right word. Live substantially better substantially better lives than those who constantly keep looking at the humanity of people and just going based off of feeling sorry for people, or I'm befriending the downtrodden. Even Jesus, for the Bible freaks out there, even Jesus, he was around all of those people and he still went back to his disciples. You can encourage people, you can visit, but don't stay. Don't don't feel like you got to incorporate people like that or energies like that into your life, don't stay. Or you gonna stay right there. No. Miss me with that shit. So, yeah, we know that. Who's dropping some of their people and their friends um, that they know for a fact ain't doing them no good? Hmm? Who? 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 A lot of people won't. A lot of people need to. Quite a few people need to. And the only thing that's keeping them from doing better and being better is the people and the environments that they're around and that they're in, and they feel like they need to stay in. Because my why had to change. My why had to go from I'm doing this for my family to I'm doing this for me. And then anybody else who's around me can benefit with boundaries. Within reason. Within reason. So I'm doing it for me because I'm the only constant in my life. The only constant thing in life is change. I'm the only constant thing in my life. I'm the only guaranteed thing in my life. So if I do it for me first, it don't matter who come in and out of my life. It don't matter what people say. I still have that final solid foundation. Absolutely. So because I'm tired of seeing certain things and certain comments and people being so fearful of certain lives and just everything. I'm no longer spending my days on TikTok reading comments. That time for me is over. I used to engage on social media a lot. Now it's time for me to engage in person. Now it's time for me to be new poster of Abbott Elementary. And everybody looks good. That whole cast is gorgeous. Like everybody. Yay, October 1st. Woo! I was just thinking about them yesterday. I didn't look it up, but I was like, when is the next season? Yay. Okay. Everybody looks good. Whole cast, fine. Everybody looks good. Oh, they look so bright and vibrant. They're throwing up apples in the poster. Well, they're not throwing up apples, but the apples are, I guess, falling down. Oh, that's cute. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, I guess my point was made. Seeing that Abbott Elementary poster threw me off in the best way. Oh yeah, I'm no longer reading those comments because most of what I see in those comment sections is doubt, worry, fear, negativity. Even if some of them are bots, it's just some of it's just nasty. Even on cute posts, there was an adorable post of a guy teaching his kitten how to swim. Because cats sometimes instinctively know how to swim, but he wanted to make sure that the cat was going to be, good if it happened to get out. Because animals be whipping past you so fast. And that's how I know some people don't have pets. But how did you let your animal get out? Unless they are on it. You have to be on it with children and pets. We have puppies in this house. And when I tell you, them puppies ran faster than the mother. And we had her since she was a puppy. It were like, You know how fast bugs move? They were like that. And they would sneak up on you so quietly. Like I would be looking for them, having no idea that they were behind my right leg. And I was turning around and it was like they kept moving behind me and I couldn't see them. And they would like dart into my room. And like, where the fuck did you come from? But he wanted to take a precaution just in case. You can't even take precaution anymore without people bitching and complaining about it. I'm like, it's a cute moment between an older gentleman, because he was older too, and his cats, and you found something wrong with that. If I complain about seeing those comments, I have no right to complain if I'm still reading them, because I could just not read them. I could just make my comment if I feel called to, and then keep it pushing. I don't have to read them. So I'm not anymore. So now I am ushering in a new life of being around high vibrational people that don't complain all day, that don't always have to say, "Oh my God, it's so much money. Oh my God, I can't afford. Oh my God, oh my God." Like it's always something bad and something negative, because that's what they see. I ain't got to see it with them. I don't have to see it with them at all. I don't have to experience it. Because there's something to be said about when people, I think it's I don't know if it's a quantum thing or whatever else. I'm gonna do some more research on it, but they're saying there's something to say about people who, when you stop hanging around certain people, certain places or environments or whatever, or you stop being friends with someone and you start to grow, you rarely run into those people afterwards. Or if you do, it's for a moment and it reminds you of when you used to be a certain person, or when, or it's sometimes even to show those people how good you're living now without them. You rarely see, I've lived in a city and lived around the corner from people. And unless I was always looking out for them, like, oh my God, I don't want to run into them, that's when I would run into them. But when I started living my life like, started being about me and what I was doing and where I was going, did not see them. I was told that they saw me. Like sometimes they would find me on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, or some other platform, and be like, oh, I saw you one day and you had on this X, Y, and Z. I ain't see them. Didn't even hear them. And sometimes I've heard people call my name, and I'll look out the corner of my eye, and if it's a voice I recognize or I don't care to hear, I pretend I don't hear them. You don't see them. You don't see them. You don't see them. You have to completely change yourself in order to stop being around certain people. You don't see them. So you stop living those lives. There's a YouTuber I enjoy watching, and she went from being real hood, real ghetto. No, she wasn't that ghetto. She's a Capricorn. She wasn't gonna be that ghetto. Because Capricorns do like living in certain they do like money. Even if the circumstances don't match up. And she's now like, her boyfriend or fiance is now getting multi-million-dollar deals with like celebrities and working with them on their projects, and she got her lines and stuff coming out. And I'm like, I remember watching you when I was a teenager, and you had your boyfriend, who I suspect was in the closet. And I hate when people try to say, and I know this mostly white gays say this, oh, you can't tell if somebody's gay. You absolutely can. Sometimes people can tell before the person knows it themselves. Gaydar is real. Now it depends on whether or not it's out of homophobia or if it's like legit. There was a kid I went to high school with, and he never gave me gay. My gaydar was very iffy when I was younger. I didn't think that much of it. I was cool with him. I didn't care. I don't care. Hell, I'm gay as fuck myself. I didn't care. We were just cool as fuck in school. And there was this one guy who, I never saw him as perceptive. He was always annoying as fuck and always had a mouth on him. And he wouldn't like torment him unless they were going at it. Like they would both say words to each other and they would argue back and forth. He would never be homophobic toward him. But when he had his moments and the guy would say, that nigga gay as shit. He would just say it matter of factly. Like not as a derogatory, but he gay as fuck. And at first we was like, don't say that, of course, that's dope. Why would you say that? That you don't know that for sure. You just saying that just to, cause you homophobe or whatever. And he was like, no, that nigga gay as shit. He would just say it just like a matter of factly. While we graduate from high school, this nigga in the Navy, gay as the day is long. And me and my friend at the time, we were talking about that. I was like, I can't believe. I mean, we didn't care, but he's like gay, like Navy, shirt off, haircut, having the gayest time of his life on a Navy boat or at Pride with a bunch of his gay Navy friends. And I was like, I love that for him. But we were cracking up laughing because we both remembered the dude that was always like, that nigga gay as fuck. And I had told my friend at the time, I was like, I thought he was just saying that because he was being like, I'm not even gonna say homophobic no more. That's dead. Anti-gay. Like he didn't like it. I thought he was saying that because he didn't like him because he was gay, or because he was extra, or he thought he was gay and said that as a negative. I was like, but no, come to think of it, the only time he would say it as a negative is if they like on a rare occasion when they would get into it and argue. It was about the fight or something. He'd be like, man, shut your gay ass up. Like he would say it. Other dude would say some shit too. So it was like an even playing field. But he never said in a derogatory way. He would just be like, that nigga gay as shit. Like, like I see it. Y'all don't see it? So we was cracking up laughing about it. You can absolutely tell when somebody's gay. But this girl, I really do believe her ex-boyfriend was gay as fuck and possibly was jealous of her. He wanted to be her. Because that happens quite a lot more than people want to admit. Of course, you don't want to say it out loud but you can't control what people say and what people think. That's like the same thing as black folks saying, well, you got to be a good Negro around white folks, or else if they're racist, they're going to be racist regardless of how you act. Period. If they don't like gay people, they're going to not like gay people regardless of how you act. Period. If they're classist like I am, they're going to be classist regardless of, I've been around classist people who were okay with folks because of how they present themselves, and as soon as they found out where they live, their attitude changed. It don't matter. Like now some people it matters, but some people it don't matter. They're going to see you how they see you. But there have been quite a few and a lot of, and I think T.S. Madison talked about this, quite a few femicide, I think it's femicide, where the women are killed at the hands of their spouses or boyfriends or whatever, where they found out that the man was down low and gay as fuck and was jealous of his girlfriend. There have been stories that kind of came out like that. Come to find out he was on Grindr and shit. Or if a girl was in an abusive situation and it was a story or something, that happened on Black Twitter a few times, more than a few times. Come to find out, there were guys literally with like pictures and DMs and stuff saying, I know this nigga. Like, I know this nigga. That nigga's a bottom. And not a bisexual bottom, because sexuality is fluid, but literally he hates himself type of bottom or top or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And he's with her usually because he wants to either put up a front or he wants to be her and he's jealous of her. There was a gay man on TikTok, and I love him for telling that story. He was like, he said, I kept the baddest women around me. Every single girlfriend I ever had, he was like, he made a video of his like transformation from like real thuggish nigga or whatever else. Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was a trend of gay men saying when they were trade. And more than a few of them, you could absolutely tell they were gay. That's why it was so funny. That trend was hilarious because someone was just like, friend, I'm gonna hold my hand. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. You could tell. Like if you're aware or perceptive, you could actually. And one guy was like, friend, you could tell. He was like, the girls could tell. So one woman was like, I think it's because you're so handsome and you're pretty, and a lot of women are going to be dating more feminine men because of their energy. There's some feminine energy men who treat women very well. There's like they probably didn't think anything of it, or didn't care. But friend, it's in your face. And one guy was like, "Oh my God, friend, why nobody tell me?" He was like, "I didn't even know." But there are some. If one guy was like, "I had some very gorgeous girlfriends." He's like, "Yes, I slept with them, ate out with them, everything," because I didn't realize that I wanted to be them. Like I was fans of theirs. He's like, it didn't set in until years later that it wasn't that I wanted to, I was attracted to them because they're gorgeous, but I wanted to more so be them than fuck them, or be them than be in relationships with them. He's like, I literally admired exactly who they were. Like he's like the gay guy friend who keeps all the beautiful women around because ooh, you're so pretty. Yeah. He said I wanted to be them. I didn't want to fuck them. He said I fucked them. He said, but it was always a part of me that was just like, I don't like this, you know? But her, I absolutely believe that her boyfriend was gay. And I don't know how he treated her, but apparently she came out and said she was in an abusive relationship. I don't know if that was that person. We don't know everybody's business, but you have to be very careful with who you decide to be in a relationship with. But yeah, there's levels to all of this shit. I don't know if I made my point, but I'm at this point rambling because I don't have nothing to do other than edit, so I can take the whole day and do what I want. But you have to change. Keanu Reeves is 61. You lying to me? Then again, he's not fully white, so I believe it. Oh shit, did I fuck that up? Oh no, I didn't. Anyway, yeah, I'm done telling people. I'm done warning people. I'm just telling people as it is, and they can decide for their lives or themselves if they want to. I'm no longer being around certain environments anymore. I'm no longer watching certain things, looking at certain things. I'm talking to certain people about certain things. I don't want that for myself, so I'm not doing it. Editing and uploading these videos because we're no longer doing the same things we used to do. I'm not just recording these audios and just hoarding them. They ain't got to be perfect. They don't have to be, all in the line or anything else like that. They just put it out. Put it out and keep it pushing. We're not repeating the same past that we did in the past because we want better. Yeah, but some people just want to stay in a space that they know, and that's it. And that includes me not logging on to certain websites anymore unless I'm doing it for work because of a certain frequency and energy that comes with it. You can't do it. Nope. Your body literally won't allow you to anymore after a while. You have to stop. You have to do something different. That's how you know that some people have to keep themselves in a certain frequency in order to keep certain people around. That's what I was doing. I had to dumb myself down and water my thoughts and bite my tongue in order to keep certain people around. And all that did was keep me stagnant. The moment I decided to rip off the band-aid and say this is not gonna feel good, but it is gonna be painful. I know these people are holding me back. And I gotta let them go. I gotta let them go. Yep. I gotta let them go And my life has gotten so much better since then. It's only gone up. I've let go of certain ways of doing things, certain strategies, certain people, and not just people, like individual people, like communities of people. I'm no longer, my focus is not people who don't have. That's going to be that's my focus for when I have more. Trying to constantly help people who don't have anything while you also have less than what you want or less than what you will be comfortable with is how you stay stuck. Now, depending on what you do, but if that's your sole focus, you're going to stay stuck right with them. Why help people with little when you can focus on yourself and help people with more? Exactly. Spilling coffee. So now it's time, I brought up the comment section because now it's time to now get out, have conversations with people, meet people with more resources, meet people with more experiences, better experiences, have better experiences so that I can live for me, but also eventually give to others.